Welcome to Between the Lines. It is March the 6th, Thursday night, and we're talking with County Commissioner Chairman Tyler Mays tonight. We got a lot to talk about. We always joke about things 20 years ago. We were always fighting in the county, but everything's smooth now because there's a lot of money. When you got a lot of money, you don't fight like marriage, right? And it's and you get it all done. But there's been some script, been some squad, we've been messing around a little bit and squabbling with each other a little bit. We're going to go over some of those subjects. So, what do you want to do first? What do you want to talk about first, Tyler? You've been at this a long time. Tyler's one of the most former circuit court, one of the most skilled political people. He knows the game. We've both been in it a long time. Since I'm 29 years older, I've been in it longer. But right. You're the only guy I know close to Chad's age. I mean,
we cut our teeth.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
I remember those days, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh, yeah.
So let's talk about county commission. Not hard to have a balanced budget anymore. There's a lot of money.
Yep.
And get internet, folks. When they figured out how to tax everybody on the internet, that was the end of it. So every county gets a portion of that money through the state and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
so
we got our first look at a budget today. Very rough.
Terry's budget?
No, it's finance put it together. All the departments have put all their requests in.
Okay, yeah.
We talked today about scheduling some budget hearings.
That always they always inflate, and then you got to bring them back to real.
Yeah, we really didn't go into a lot of questions today. Just took a look at it. Money is down with it being a reappraisal year.
What does that mean? What does that mean to people out there? Money is down.
Well, we're not collecting at 100% of our tax rate.
Well, we always were at 94, 95.
Yeah, and I think there's a formula, and I don't want to misspeak on it.
That's all right.
But I know, last year we weren't collecting as much because, the state of Tennessee gets some of that. And I'll talk about, too, there's a bill that we're trying to get passed that would get local governments 50% of what the state gets from our county taxes. So that's something that we're looking at. But
what are we getting now?
Right now, it's that real estate transfer tax. We don't get anything.
Oh, on that particular tax.
Yeah, and so the lobbyists and all of the associations are trying to get 50% of that because of all of the roads, with what's happening and with Edgemore widening, just
is Edgemore widening fun?
Yeah, I just left actually a town hall. Left a little early, but laid out some plans there. I mean, I was looking at the initiation discussion started in 2004.
Oh yeah,
so it's been going on for
a long time.
Yeah, it's been going on for a while, but it's much needed. I mean, if you go down to Edgemore,
where would it be expanded from? From Clinton Highway?
So I mean, they're talking about starting in Solway, but it would be all through Oak Ridge part of Edgemore on down to Raccoon Valley.
But when you go over the bridge, there's no Edgemore Road anymore.
Well, there is actually. It is Edgemore, and they're actually going to be building a new bridge. So the bridge that they currently have, it'll stay in place, but they're going to be building a bridge. So if you're going towards Oak Ridge to the left of that, there's going to be a brand new bridge to tie in Oak Ridge and Claxton. But
I don't get that, but that's okay.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it just seems a little bit overshooting for me. Is it just too much traffic? Or?
Yeah, there's a lot of traffic. I mean, it's the traffic through there, especially you get out there 3 to 6. I hope you don't have to turn against traffic.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be there a while.
I don't know if anybody that's ever gone over the bridge in my 50, 60 years of being around. I don't know if anybody's ever taught and gone over the bridge. Now, in Clinton, it's happened down there on the South Clinton Old Bridge. But
I don't know, but I know there's a lot of wrecks leading if that funnel into that bridge because when it funnels in, it gets
from the Knoxville side.
Yeah, well, from really too from the Claxton side as well. That bridge narrows quite a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be more. It would be more on that side. That's
and we've had just, a lot of wrecks. It's just a lot of traffic on that road. I mean,
so the state sees the need to get something done.
Yeah, it's moving, and of course the events in northeast Tennessee with Hurricane Helene.
Yeah. Would it go all the way down to Clinton Highway?
Yeah, it will.
Which side of the road are you at widening?
So it would be both sides.
6 feet or something?
Yeah, I don't remember the number, but both sides will be impacted by it.
But we're going to have still one lane each way.
It'll be 2 lanes.
4 lanes total?
Yeah.
Wow. All the way down?
Yeah.
That's a lot of space you got to cut up.
It's a lot.
That's a lot of infringement on people.
Yeah, I looked at a couple of meetings, and I know TDOT's supposed to be contacting folks.
What's the cost on?
I haven't seen it. It's Representative Scarborough. We were talking before I came here, and they were talking rough estimate. It's about just in the paving is $100,000 a mile.
Yeah, that makes sense about right.
So big project. TDOT has a lot of big projects across the state, so they're filling the squeeze, and so I think they're looking for some local money, and so we're asking if you're going.
They're giving away money for everything up there in Nashville because they got a lot of money saved and balancing the budgets, and people are trying to get their piece up. Yeah, they do have a lot of money up there, though. They do, et cetera, et cetera. So we have a commission now, and this is the second budget that this commission's done.
This would be the third.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next year will be fourth. That's right. This will be the second. And I find this, I've talked to the mayor and I've talked to others, I find this commission to be very young, very aggressive, and very conservative. I mean, I really, really like this commission.
Yeah, I think it's a good mix of new faces, solid veteran commissions who clearly know the ins and outs of county government. I think inherently we're pretty conservative, but we also recognize the need for public safety. I think this has been a very good commission for public safety. But when I was there, I mean, when I worked in the car, 25 years ago, but it was. We'd fight over stupid stuff, $6,700 for this or that. Yeah, I don't see that. That's something that
I don't see it either. I don't watch a lot, but
no, and I think we do a good job in committee.
That's important.
Yeah, we really take advantage. Like today, I mean, we really talked through a lot of things, and that way when we get to full commission,
we had a budget committee meeting tonight, folks, tonight at 4. And to explain it a little bit and save time, operations runs the engine room, all the different things that you would think about doing. Budget determines who gets the money and where it goes.
Yeah, tonight
we
allocated some money for the circuit and criminal courtroom.
What are you going to do up there?
So upgrading some technology.
Judge Spitzer.
Yeah, Judge Spitzer, bringing us into the 21st century.
Yeah. Is that a security committee type thing, or is it a?
So no, it came to us. We're going to use it. Yeah.
Well, you've been in that world. You were circuit.
Yeah, it's definitely overdue. Definitely needed.
Is that going to Rex's budget? Is that more money for Rex, or how's that work?
Oh no, we don't. We're not going to give him any more money.
I hear that from everybody.
Yeah. We've got some money. I mean, we've done a pretty good job of saving and with our capital funds and so we voted tonight to take it out of capital.
You're good there.
Yeah. So
how much money was it?
Just $69,000.
Okay.
Yeah, it was.
Folks, I know that's a lot of money, but in government world, as you can well see, Doge is on a roll, and everybody in the country knows that there's too much money spent on a lot of stuff. So, but that's something we probably need there for more efficiency and all that.
And I will say too, I think, the budget committee and I mean, we ask the tough questions. That's
what I'm talking about. The new commission's tougher.
If an elected official doesn't show up, we'll either deny it or we'll move forward, and they can come back the next month. We really want, unless there's, of course, they'll reach out and provide a bunch of information, but, Jeff called me after a meeting and said, well, how'd it go? And I said, well, we denied your contract. You weren't here.
Jeff Cole?
Yeah, but he had a reason not to be, but it just goes to show you.
I would say Jeff Cole, in my opinion, is the most popular county official in Anderson County. I mean, when you hand out license plates, I get it. But, I mean, still, I hear more things and more compliments about Jeff Cole than I do almost anybody else.
Jeff's a good one. Got some of the best one-liners I've ever heard. But, yeah, I would say.
Loves the Celtics.
Loves the Celtics. And I tell you, though, I mean, between him and for a sheriff to be nearing election for his third term, I mean, he's pretty popular guy.
I agree. I hear a lot of good things about Barker. I really do. And he's kind of like Chuck Fleischman in a sense. It isn't a policy thing; it's how they get along with people.
Exactly
he's out
right.
talking. Chuck's everywhere, right? Shaking hands, eating breakfast, and Russell's the same way.
Yeah,
we want to because we got a lot. We're all in Morgan County, and we're all over at Roane County. I want to say that. It was a tough month with Sheriff Potter.
Sheriff Potter was
and Russell and him were such good friends.
I got to know Sheriff Potter quite a bit when I was at the sheriff's office, and I tell you, he was truly a gentle giant.
Yeah, he was.
Great man, good family man, and he and the sheriff had such a. It was like a brotherhood. They went to new sheriff school together, and that's kind of where it hit. And both of our, both departments. I mean, we just
in Morgan County. My wife's from Morgan County, and Morgan County was kind of unstable. Not criticize anybody, but every sheriff would have trouble, next trouble, and they tried 2 or 3 different sheriffs, and he just stabilized everything.
Yeah, he did. And his employees loved him.
Yeah.
He was good.
I like it.
He loved the world.
50 years old.
Yeah.
Died of pancreatic cancer. They gave him 3 weeks. He lived a year and a half. Right? I mean, something like that. Right?
He was a fighter.
He ain't go easy. That's what we figured. I mean, he spent a lot of extra time with his family, and we remember him fondly. But Sheriff Barker has done a good job, and I think
he has.
You may get opposition just because sheriffs always do.
They do, but I'll say this: he comes to commission, fights for his employees during budget season. We respect that.
And while I'm on the subject. And this is still a problem 25 years later. Only a few commissioners come fully prepared. I mean, really study everything, do everything, read everything. And you don't need to name it. But, I mean, we'll say this, though. Sabra and you and a couple others always are ready to go. And you have a big advantage over other people when you're ready, when they come and do so. I appreciate the effort you guys put into it by studying. I have to hear it all the time, but I mean, you're just studying and what you're doing and everything.
Yeah. Sabra does a good job.
She's tough as nails, man.
Yeah,
it's New River, folks.
I'll tell you, she when she talks, there's very few times when this happens, but when she talks, I just kind of grab my gavel. You never know. What's going to happen? But no, she does a good job. She's passionate.
That's an understanding.
And I tell you, when you leave the night, you don't have any questions on where she's at.
And when she starts talking, everybody gets quiet and know something's coming, right? I mean, and she gets out there and she'll look at somebody and she'll say, "Why didn't you do this last year? Why didn't you do this in the budget?"
She's not afraid to ask the tough questions.
Oh yeah, and she's not afraid. And and we'll just see where everything goes. But she's good.
But even we were talking before the show. The increase in women in leadership roles and
all across the state, folks. I work all across the state, and I'm telling you, Chattanooga's got a woman chairman. Bradley County has a 25-year-old male chairman, young kid, and we got a lot of people, and they're just enthusiastic.
Well, if you look at Anderson County, I mean, starting with the mayor, mayor's a strong leader.
Yep.
Regina Copeland, such a strong leader, as popular as anybody, does a phenomenal job. And then on commission tonight, we voted on the opioid money.
Let's talk about that for a second.
But you had other people on the committee, but when you look at Sabra, Shelley, and Denise, the work that they did, and it's no surprise, but I mean, it is. I'm just glad, Anderson County for the longest time, and we'd have one, and then some none, and then one. Now we've got, more on there, and golly bum, they just do a phenomenal job.
We'll take a break before we get into that. But is there any concern that DOGE's cuts from states where it will impact local government?
Not yet.
Okay.
We haven't felt anything.
I figured.
I do think going to. Like TDOT and some other things. I mean, they're trying to tighten it up a little bit and get some more local help.
CDBG grants and stuff. When I always worked with, I mean, those things could be dried up federally.
Yeah, we talked about that tonight. I mean, we're a little unsure on the grants. That's tightened up over the last year and a half, 2 years.
And there's a lot of worthy people on the list, but I mean, you guys did a great job of seeing who can have immediate impact in this opioid thing, which right after our commercial we'll see. But free medical clinics is about as good as it gets. They can go. They can hit the ground tomorrow. I mean, they've already been training, paying people. Anything we can do to support that group.
It's one of the greatest resources that I can even.
8,000 people in Anderson County. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it is truly. I mean,
it's like Sabra asked the question when you were doing it in the opioid commission. She said, "Are you going to be able to drug test? Are you going to be able to give people medicines to do it?" Yes. We're already doing it. Well, you don't have to worry about it.
And those are. I mean, you talk about the hands and feet of Christ.
Yeah, you go.
Those people.
There you go. Yeah, that's exactly right. Channel, let's go to commercial. We'll be right back in 2-3 minutes, folks.
From Oak Ridge, Tennessee, IB3 Global Solutions conducts operations around the world to enhance the U.S. national security posture and minimize radiological and nuclear threats. IB3 Global Solutions. Mission first.
Feeling overwhelmed with your business finances? At P&L Business Services, we handle all your bookkeeping, payroll, and tax needs. From federal tax returns to QuickBooks training, we've got you covered. With over 25 years of experience, we provide customized packages to fit your business. Focus on what you love most, building your business. Let us take care of the rest. Call 865-294-4792. P&L Business Services, empowering you to grow your business.
Prescription drug misuse is a prevalent and potentially fatal problem. When people do not properly monitor, store, and dispose their medications, it can create an opportunity for misuse. Count it. Make it a goal to count your pills once every 2 weeks. Lock it. Secure your medications at home. Drop it. Drop off unused or expired medications for proper disposal at any police department in Anderson County. For more info, visit asapofanderson.org. Brought to you by ASAP of Anderson. Prevention works.
Over 14,000 neighbors live in fear of becoming sick or injured and having to make a choice between putting food on the table or seeking medical care. The free medical clinic tries to take that fear away.
What do we help them with? We help them with diabetes, hypertension, any kind of medical need that they need that's necessary. And being in a community with the African American community lets them know that we're here.
Fan Gear Barn is Oak Ridge's source for new and vintage sports fan gear from around the world of sports. Find your favorite team gear at Fan Gear Barn, located at 977 Oak Ridge Turnpike, across from the hospital. Open 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., 6 days a week. Closed on Sundays.
Back with East Tennessee's leading county chairman, our good friend Tyler Mason. Let's talk about opioid minute. So, background real quick. Fentanyl's done a lot of damage to everybody, right? I mean, it's been terrible, and now these drug companies and others are having to pay into the solutions, and so the state gets so much money, folks, to help us fight fentanyl and treat it and everything, and then the county governments get to distribute that money to people that apply for it. A couple weeks ago, we had a opioid committee met that made some decisions. Tonight, you looked at it in budget and passed it on to the commissioner.
Yeah.
So tell me about. They gave out. I think you had 400 and thousand.
Yeah. So the county had about $425,000 to allocate to just different organizations, if that's what they chose. So months ago, this opioid committee started having town halls across the county. Really just doing the grunt work, getting people out, just hearing the needs and figuring out, what's the county, what's the pulse of the county and what groups are wanting to do what to help combat this. And so opioid committee signed up with UT Smart Initiative, a group out of the Institute of Public Service. What I liked about it removed the politics from every bit of it.
Yeah.
It was just a points. You ranked them, and it was just, whoever got the best rankings got it. It's a 1-year grant, which means if you didn't get it this year, we're encouraging.
What's the
everybody.
funding look like? Is it going to be about the same every year?
Yeah, every year we'll get funding for the next 18 years.
But will it be around 400 or could it go to 130? I mean,
It should be around what we're getting, around that amount.
Okay.
Free medical clinic was the biggest allocation.
That's a no-brainer. I give it all to them. That's me. They only applied for 2 things.
Yeah, they've got. They were fully funded on their request. About $82,000 that they got.
Yeah, they needed a navigator nurse, and they needed some extra for a drug counselor. And they were on the show a couple weeks ago, and they talked about their needs and what they're doing. It was just amazing.
Yeah, and the work that they do.
Who else got money?
Anderson County, the drug court got some money.
Give us some numbers here.
So they got $25,000.
25 for drug court. Right?
Boys and Girls Club got $30,000. Let's see here.
I love her. I mean, she's the best. I mean,
yeah.
But I don't know what is that just for?
So what they're getting it for is youth programming. So just to
help about that. All right.
Isaiah House got $10,000.
Good group been on here.
ASAP got $16,000.
Who's running that now?
I will always say Shaylee Sanderson. I can't remember her married name.
Is that Jim Sanderson's granddaughter?
Granddaughter, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I really liked him.
Yeah, Jim was a good man, I'm telling you.
Overlooked too many times. No offense to the school system, but that man should have been a principal a long time ago.
Yeah.
He did such a great job in North Carolina.
He was just a class act.
Did he finally pass on?
He did. Yeah, Jim was a good man.
Yeah, he was a great man.
So let's see here.
Okay, let's see where we're at here. You got a few more.
Celebrate Recovery in Oak Ridge. Their recovery got 13.5. Main Street Baptist, they have a recovery program. In Rocky Top, they got 20,000.
Nobody needs it more than Rocky Top.
Yeah. Foundation House asked for some transportation for some van expenses and
That's easy.
housing, so they got 60,000.
That's a lot of money for van expenses.
Yeah, different transportation needs.
I got it. I'm not judging.
So that's kind of and then project clean out. So the medication disposal.
Yeah.
Put 20 grand in that. I'm not 20. Sorry, 10 there.
So I'm looking at about 140, 150, 163.
First,
about 220 here.
So the peer support group and First Methodist First Recovery got 18.5.
Okay.
PPS and Focus Group Ministries got 35,000.
That's good.
Let's see. ASAP ASAP actually got 2 awards.
Okay.
One for the 16, the other one for 22.
Okay.
Anderson County, the Drug Recovery Court, they actually ended up getting more than they got 40 plus 25, so they got 65.
Now, what was it? What do they do?
So it's the drug court out of criminal court.
Okay.
Yeah. Another hiring a position for that. And I'll tell you, they do golly bum. Winnie and
Winnie been around long.
yeah, she has.
Campbell County girl.
They do.
Original.
They do good stuff, and Judge Spitzer does a phenomenal job.
He's committed, isn't he?
Oh my gosh, yeah. We're blessed to have him.
Yeah.
So that's, free mental
That's
clinic.
pretty much all.
Yeah, that's
140, that's 150, 190, almost 230. Yeah, you maybe have another 60 or 70 spread out, but that's pretty good.
so. Yeah, and they,
Did you use it all?
yeah, we used every penny of it. Matter of fact, we went over a couple thousand that we'll pay for out of another pot that we have.
May I look at it for a second?
Yeah.
Let me see that.
So they, did a great job. Those contracts will start July 1, but under the rules, we had to get it allocated by the end of the month.
Okay.
And so all of that will start July 1, and there will be every year we'll do the same thing. We'll open it up for applications again. Take a look at it. This committee will continue to work with the UT Smart Initiative, and also UT Smart Initiative is going to do a needs assessment for Anderson County, and so that'll be about a 6-month process. So, but yeah, the committee did an amazing job on this. Which
that group, her and Shaw.
They just did phenomenal.
Yeah, they're committed to that. I think mothers and sisters and everybody else. We've seen a lot of drug use. Our family's been spared a lot of that, but a lot of families have not. Cousins.
Yeah, we've all.
Like that.
I think we can all point to something in our families
Sure.
that as
That's right.
this.
Everybody's got some story.
Yeah.
I always tell my sisters I struggled as an only child, and she says that's not correct. She's a dentist. She's a great. She was president of Tennessee Dental Association. She's done a lot. Okay, great. So we have an account on that. You're accountable for that. You did a great job. Okay, let's move on to the election commission. You all. We have some issues there. As a citizen, and obviously y'all know I'm in the business, but as a citizen, first let me say that Kim and Tina and Sean and all do a great job for me. I'm in the business. They're professional. This is not a staff issue. And I'm not sure what it is. I'm not criticizing anybody directly, but they got problems.
Yeah, we
Very unpopular in the community on elections because they can't get stuff done on election night. What'd y'all find out?
Well, a couple of months ago, the county commission and budget committee and then the legislative committee passed a no confidence vote. And
Now, what is that? Tell the folks what that means.
so basically, as a commissioner, we don't have authority over Mr. Stevens in terms of, his employee. So the only thing that we really have at our
Is the money.
Is the money, and that was the big contention. Is his position and the Election Commission's position was that he didn't have to adhere to what our guidelines were, and that created problems for the past year and lack of communication and refusing to communicate, not coming to meetings when requested, making it clear in his Election Commission meetings that he doesn't answer to us, and he doesn't. He's right, but we lost faith, and so we issued a vote of no confidence.
And you do. You're directly elected by the people of Anderson County.
Yeah, and this is not something we just
No, they
thought
voice their
of.
opinions.
We've got people, just our constituents concerned.
Yeah.
But what I did find out through the State Election Commission, and I shared tonight at budget, is that he is in fact required to follow our budget and purchasing laws. That's Mark Goins from
State Election Commission.
Yeah. So that was good to know. No one wants conflict. No one wants those issues,
But people would like to see early voting early.
Yeah, look, I've been following this stuff.
Yeah, me and you both. Yeah.
For over 2 decades, and it's not a coincidence. I mean, it's not untrue. I mean, it's every year, every election, it seems to be getting the results later. And while
a lot of people look at it just to see if they're going to get up, they don't even worry about the election results. I mean, people are starting to look and say, did they get up? Did they get up?
Yeah, and I think too is you've got other counties celebrating, and
That's right.
We're sitting on the edge of our seat, sending people out.
And when
to
you're
different...
part of a congressional district or part of some other stuff, we kind of need to know what's going on. Because as we all know, the results in early voting, 95% of the time, 19 out of 20 races, they don't change.
No.
Unless they're within 100 votes or 200 votes, they don't change.
Well, and two, I mean, we're getting things in reverse order. I mean, we're sending folks out to the polling locations to read the door receipts, that the polling places, election day numbers may differ a little bit. I mean, and so it's not giving you that much, if you've got, we'll use the Fisher Fair campaign.
Yeah.
Election day, I mean, he just stormed in.
Yeah.
Well, early voting. But in 2010, we had the results by 8:02.
Sure.
And I don't know what that issue is.
Yeah, if you waited an hour to put up those results in a tie race like that was, woo.
Yeah. So, and I think, again, I mean, it was.
Joanne did a good job.
Yeah. Mark just, didn't feel that, he could conduct a bid on his own, didn't have to follow our guidelines, and didn't have to operate under the county budget and purchasing laws, and we don't agree with that. And then, so when we got confirmation from in a way, his boss from the state, that was just good for us, because now we know here's the path. I mean, we don't deviate off this path. You're going to be held accountable just as. Rex Lynch, Jeff Cole, Russell Barker, Terry Frank, everybody.
Yeah.
So,
what's a budget issue? You're accountable for the money, and Robbie has to be accountable.
Yeah, and we don't want to carry an audit finding for anybody.
Yeah.
But Robbie gets an audit finding, and Robbie does a phenomenal job, and Robbie had got to his wits' end, and for Robbie to bring it to commission,
that's a lot.
It's saying a lot.
Yeah, I worked with Robbie. Robbie did a good job.
So Robbie just likes to handle business, but it had got to a point where he just had enough, and we had enough, and we had the vote.
Cooperation seems a much easier path.
And when I say they're across the hall from each other, they're literally across the hall.
I know they are.
So there's really no excuse, and all the most of the election commissioners.
Just a friendly staff, very helpful.
Yeah, Kim's been there for a number of years. Kim and Tina and Sean and those folks. I mean, they're phenomenal.
They do, but this is a leadership issue, not a labor issue.
No, I agree. I agree with that.
And again, Mark's always been friendly to me. He's always been very polite. He's gotten me what I need. I think a lot of it's an election day issue.
Yeah, I mean, there's no surprise these elections are scheduled.
Yeah.
Well,
and I think and I work with a lot of election commissions, probably a good 8 to 10 consistently. And I can tell you, just to be generous about it all, He's got enough staff. I mean, I know
Yeah.
a lot of election commissioners working with 2 or 3 people, so he's got the people to get the job done. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I think the election commission, chaired by Jane Miller, most of them were there tonight at budget. So,
Maybe they'll get the message.
I hope so. We're not. I mean, for us to take that step, and that was the message.
And let's say this: do all 5 of them get reappointed at one time next month? I mean, Bradshaw just went on, but he just fulfilled the term.
Yeah, I think it's a 2-year term.
Yeah, that makes sense. Every legislator's changed.
Yeah, and so I know that's coming up here in the next several weeks.
So make it clear: our state rep and our state senate, Rick Scarborough, Randy McNally, appoint those commissioners, those election commissioners, who thereby hire Mark Stevens.
Yeah, the election commission has sole authority over the election administrator unless the state decertifies. If the state were to decertify an election administrator, then it wouldn't matter who was on the commission; they just couldn't hold that position anymore.
And I've never heard of somebody being decertified.
Yeah, I haven't either. I think talking to Mark Goins at the state, financial,
misgivings,
issues, not, handling your business financially in terms of with your office. I mean, because again, you know how elections are, especially in today's world, they're under such a fine microscope. And if there's any appearance
that's the truth right there.
Of
impropriety
or just mismanagement or just you don't have trust in the person leading the way, then
that could happen anywhere. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
And so it's, there was a citizen that spoke out today and at budget. I want nothing more than there to not be an issue, but
what did the citizen have to say?
Just frustrated with there doesn't seem to be a lot of transparency in the election office with the commission and with Mark. And I'll be the first to say I don't really know Ms. Miller or Mr. Bradshaw. I don't have anything bad to say about them. I know Bill. I've known Bill my whole life. Like Bill Gallagher a lot, and Bear. Those guys are good people, and but I do think they see. And I think they're engaged now.
Well, I can tell you this. I know David Bradshaw very well. Worked with him since '85 when he got elected city council. Bank president, right, vice president, whatever, etc. That is one of the most honest and competent individuals you could have, and he'll look at it straight ahead. He won't look at it with blinders on.
And I've heard that, and I don't even know if I've ever, as long as I've been around, I don't know if I've ever met him.
Yeah. That's different because he was the mayor for
Mayor of Oak Ridge,
for I think 4 to 6, maybe 8 years. I don't remember. Okay, let's take one more break and then we'll come back and we'll talk about some more issues.
From Oak Ridge, Tennessee, IB3 Global Solutions conducts operations around the world to enhance the U.S. national security posture and minimize radiological and nuclear threats. IB3 Global Solutions. Mission first.
Fan Gear Barn is Oak Ridge's source for new and vintage sports fan gear from around the world of sports. Find your favorite team gear at Fan Gear Barn, located at 977 Oak Ridge Turnpike, across from the hospital. Open 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., 6 days a week. Closed on Sundays.
Prescription drug misuse is a prevalent and potentially fatal problem. When people do not properly monitor, store, and dispose their medications, it can create an opportunity for misuse. Count it. Make it a goal to count your pills once every 2 weeks. Lock it. Secure your medications at home. Drop it. Drop off unused or expired medications for proper disposal at any police department in Anderson County. For more info, visit asapofanderson.org. Brought to you by ASAP of Anderson. Prevention works.
Feeling overwhelmed with your business finances? At P&L Business Services, we handle all your bookkeeping, payroll, and tax needs. From federal tax returns to QuickBooks training, we've got you covered. With over 25 years of experience, we provide customized packages to fit your business. Focus on what you love most, building your business. Let us take care of the rest. Call 865-294-4792. P&L Business Services, empowering you to grow your business.
Over 14,000 neighbors live in fear of becoming sick or injured and having to make a choice between putting food on the table or seeking medical care. The free medical clinic tries to take that fear away.
Bringing the health care, primary care out to our rural communities. I've had patients tell me that if it wasn't for us, they wouldn't be able to have any kind of health care. So us being able to go into these areas and provide that on-site care to these patients that can also come back week to week if they need for follow-up primary care, it is life-changing. It means a world of difference between actually life and death for them.
I guess the title of our next segment will be "Who Let the Dogs Out?" You know what I mean? We have some issues in animal control, or we don't have any issues in animal control. But it's always been an issue since I went back 25 years ago, 35 years. Everybody's always, there's a lot of people that have a lot of passion, more for animals than people, some people. But give us a little background on what's going on. Obviously, I know it, and I think that 2 commissioners, maybe 3, were really upset and involved in the management of the handling, and then all the other commissioners, and then they wanted to form an advisory committee, and the community was behind that, the pro-animal, whatever that means, behind that. But it turned out they tried this before, and nobody showed up, and there's been other issues. And it's under the mayor's venue, and I just don't think, first of all, Rex Lynch always used to say to me, and the difference between us and a city is that I'm a dog catcher. Those guys they write legislation and do stuff. We're always taking dog calls. And it was kind of a a figurative statement, not literal, but it was symbolic. That's what it is. Yeah. So as important as the animals are, the cows, the dogs, everything, what's the complaint?
Well, it's really hard to kind of pinpoint some of this, but there's, like you said, it is a passionate group.
Cool.
And what I have found in the very short amount of time I've been on commission is you've got a lot of different rescue groups, a lot of different volunteer bases, some that are very vocal and, showing up at the meeting and wanting this committee. You've got some that are very low key, that they kind of stay behind. Don't say much. And you got some that are kind of in that middle group of, I don't operate this way, but I do think that there's some issues there. And I'll just say for me, when that came down, the resolution itself had some issues. There was parts that gave the authority to see.
Who proposed the resolution? So
this was a resolution that was created in 24 when Jay wrote the resolution in 24. Okay. It came to commission in 24, got voted down. At that time, the Animal Advisory Committee was still in effect, meeting, and then, what that side was, their complaint is that they had provided recommendations to the mayor's office, and the mayor's office was not responding to those complaints. So fast forward a couple.
I think she has an obligation to listen, not to impose.
Yeah, and I think the law is clear in terms of you can't really circumvent an elected official's authority.
No.
And so, right, wrong, or indifferent, you can't. And so, Commissioner Varon became chairman of that committee. Well, then they found themselves not having quorum, mostly every month.
Yeah, it's a good reason not to have a committee.
And so then it was recommended to abolish it, the committee, and so we did.
How many months ago or years ago was that?
It was in 24 when this happened. Less than a half year ago. So when we abolished the committee.
And now they want to come another one.
And so there was a push for the oversight committee. And again, so when the resolution that was presented, they got voted down, and 24 got represented.
Is the complaints a mishandling of animals, or?
Yeah, I think I think the chief complaint that came during this cycle was a family that wanted to volunteer, and they were frustrated that they didn't feel like that they were being able to volunteer. And again, I'm definitely talking high level here, because we have received an immense amount of communication in terms of from the community.
Family,
and the community. again, I don't want to misspeak on kind of how the specifics were of the animal director, the shelter director saying, look, I need to get you on a schedule, the way I understand it. And I'm not really sure where the fallout happened exactly, because you've got, definitely you got both sides that are standing their ground. But for me, it went back to just, I felt like that we already had a committee that wasn't getting us anywhere. I felt like that they were, working hard. And I'm not saying that, but they got frustrated and stopped coming. And, for me, I felt like the end result's going to be the same if we put this committee together. I don't think that, we've already tried this. What are other options? And the resolution itself, I believe that it was flawed from my perspective. That one part of it talked about the mayor being the daily manager of the shelter. Another part of the resolution talked about that committee being the daily manager of the shelter. So right off the rip, we approved that. There's conflict right off the rip. And so for me, and I was glad that Saybrook called the question, but, I had said, to several people, guys, we need to address this in a different manner. And tonight we passed a motion, and it'll be operations on Monday, to have a workshop. I feel like that when the lights are on, the camera's going, you've got a very small amount of time that you can really address these issues in a commission meeting. You've got an agenda packed full.
I said, this is a workshop worthy issue. There's enough public interest. You need to have a workshop.
Yeah, and like, tonight there's concern that they want to make sure that it's, there's diplomacy, there's, and I told the commission, they want to make sure that we're not going to rehash the past. We need to look forward. There's not going to be any fighting, and that's a commitment that I'll make. I'll end the meeting.
You do good with that.
But
let me ask you this, and it's a tough question. A lot of talk about this being a politically manipulated thing. We can't prove that to get it Mayor Frank. Who knows?
Yeah,
there's a lot of talk like that, though.
Yeah, I don't even know. I won't even touch that. But I'll say this. Both sides are.
In families, the people that are very boisterous, I don't think it's as political for them as it is just their opinion. This is something they're passionate about. But I'm wondering if people, and we're not doing any names, or that project. And let me tell you something. If you want to talk about animals, and you want to talk about the Phillips family, they spent decades dedicated to animals. Go down Marlowe and see. That family has done more.
Yeah.
According from Terry's mother and aunt did just a wonderful job for years, and I think the mayor's always been.
Yeah, I think that the moment we start throwing out that folks don't care about animals, then you can't rationalize with either side. Once we have those kind of discussions. I've got 3 rescue animals in my house right now. I feel comfortable with how I feel about animals. My vote on a committee does not, change that. But one of the,
good. I'm glad you're doing it.
So the things that I propose today is, a lot of counties around us, the management of the shelter is a 501c3, a nonprofit group. Sure. I'm not saying that's the answer. But what I am saying is that we all, there's enough of the public that is.
How big is this shelter? I've not been out there.
So we were presented, Bill Blankenship, who's the architect, presented, talked to a commission a couple weeks ago. It's 14,000 square feet. Which
the
is
one we're in now?
No, right now it is, golly bum.
Is it as big as Oak Ridge's?
No, nowhere.
Oak Ridge is pretty small, though.
Yeah, no, it's not that big at all. But so what I've asked is, let's look at what does outsourcing look like for Anderson County. If it doesn't look like it's the best plan for us, then we don't do it. But we owe it to ourselves, and I think to the people that are, I don't think an oversight committee is the answer. And I think commission now has voted that down twice.
That in itself, It's the definition of lunacy. You don't keep doing something that doesn't work. That's
But
right.
I do think that rational voices need to get in the room and talk. And what is the best path? If we're on it, then we're on it. If we're not on it and we need to do something different, then we all need to get in a room and
What
have.
kind of animals are there? Dogs and cats, basically?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And, there's still a lot of volunteers. I mean, after the vote, there's still groups down there adopting, doing adoption drives. And there's a lot of good that still goes on down
That's
there.
something we're never going to be able to. We'll catch up a little and we'll get behind a little bit.
Well, and I'll tell you, and this is a position I've always felt, and I may be by myself on this, but I don't think local governments are built to handle social services.
No, I agree with that 100%.
I don't think that we have the funding. I don't think that we have the
I
expertise.
agree. If we have any, and this is kind of reflection on my stuff, we can do a little bit through the criminal system, like drug court.
Yeah.
But some things we can't do.
Yeah, and so if that's kind of, I've always been told not to be in social service business and not to be in the real estate business in local government. And right, wrong, or indifferent, that's just kind of my mindset. And for social services, there's so many people out there that do such a phenomenal job.
That's right. They're made for that.
Drug treatment, mental health, youth services, all of these things. And so,
are we any better on mental health? When I went through the collateral issues were so bad and people were just struggling. And
no, our jails are mental health institutions.
That's all they ever were. That's part of it. Or drug addiction.
And so,
there's collateral issues with all of that.
And I'll tell you, corrections officers don't get paid enough anywhere in the country for what they have to do. Mm-hmm. They're dealing, they're mental health counselors. They are, they have to enforce rules.
Need a lot of training, that's for sure.
Oh, my gosh. And the work, and they do a good job. I think the shelter, again, sometimes you know how this is. There's always something there at the surface. We get the calls and we get the emails, but then there's times whether it be shelter or the library books or, there are certain things that happen, then it reaches a fever pitch. But I don't think that we can just let things go away. And
that will happen.
Yeah.
You can take that path because people don't have the sustenance to do it for long periods of time.
Yeah. But I do think that, I think this is a commission that likes to address problems head on.
Be proactive.
And we'll have the tough conversations. We'll have the decisions.
You better be prepared when you go into that commission.
Yeah.
You guys are well organized.
So yeah. Again, I've had a lot of phone calls today, and before the vote, after the vote, being able to share kind of where I was at on it, and I think a lot of people see, why that is, and but at the end of the day, I just want to move forward with it. And
what's funny is we'll get to Christmas and Thanksgiving, and everybody will go into their angelic mood because commission races are coming up, and nobody will be fine. And I love Bobby Joe, and I love this. I used to love to watch that. It's just,
it's funny you say that.
We're a little different now because it's partisan, but still.
Well, and it's funny you say that because we talk about. I've seen it for years. You get the getting's good, but election season, don't be coming up with a 20% raise increase. And, but for me, Saber's the same way. I think a lot of us, if getting beat, by doing the right thing gets me beat, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, she is for
I've
sure.
Won. I've won. I've won and I've lost. I'm okay with it. And but at the end of the day, just doing the right thing.
Yes.
And I think that 16 of us up there, we're all very different, but we all have the same goal.
There's
in
some
mind.
talented people, though. Phil Yeager's talented.
Phil is we call him the Velvet Glove.
The Velvet Glove, Phil. I haven't heard that one.
Yeah, Phil is just so diplomatic.
But he's tough, too. I know him. He's tough.
He is tough.
I haven't talked to him in a while, but he's tough.
He is. I remember at the Sheriff's Department, before I got on commission, come up and talk to me about the budget request. And he's incredibly knowledgeable. But the way he handles business in the meeting, you're talking about being prepared. That is a guy that's prepared always. But yeah, he's a good one.
He fits in good.
He's a, all of us.
Good commissioner. There's some good commissioners. Just different people in different areas. Who is our, Anthony's out there. That's right. Anthony and Ebony are out there in West Oak Ridge.
Yeah.
And then you've got Sabre. I like Moran. Friends, I like him. He's a little Democrat and I'm a conservative Republican. I like him. He cares. He cares about people.
He cares about people, and you don't have any question where he stands.
That's right.
He is
He's quiet too, though.
He is. But he stands up for what he believes in.
Him and Sabre get along great. In the 7th District,
they're a good.
They like each other.
Yeah, and I think it's really interesting to see the dynamics in each district.
Especially yours.
Yeah, I mean, Tracy and I.
We get along.
Yeah, we get along great, and we don't always agree.
No.
On we were on different ends on this animal shelter.
That's my boy Foster doing.
Good. Michael.
I don't hear his name much anymore.
Yeah, Michael's, just he's done a really good job as parliamentarian. He was budget committee chair. He's now in operations. Mike, I've known Michael since I was 6 years old, and
how old is he?
He's my age, so we graduated together. Yeah,
48.
Yeah, nah. But Michael does a good job. Michael is a hard worker and incredibly knowledgeable. I think that's the good thing about a lot of the new commission too is. A lot of us came in with experience.
Yeah, city managers.
Not commission experience, but a lot of us have been in front of that commission.
I think you guys are career type.
Yeah.
I know it doesn't sound right, but you're career political people and you career public service people. And, I got a lot of graduate work in public administration, and people don't understand the word bureaucrat's not a bad word. It's only a bad word when it's overused.
Right.
And a lot of people are... Of course, we were taught that by the bureaucrats, but that's where we are on that thing.
Yeah.
I got one more break, don't I, guys? Let's go one more, and then we'll finish up with 7 or 8 minutes. We're going to talk about the future.
From Oak Ridge, Tennessee, IB3 Global Solutions conducts operations around the world to enhance the U.S. national security posture and minimize radiological and nuclear threats. IB3 Global Solutions. Mission first.
Feeling overwhelmed with your business finances? At P&L Business Services, we handle all your bookkeeping, payroll, and tax needs. From federal tax returns to QuickBooks training, we've got you covered. With over 25 years of experience, we provide customized packages to fit your business. Focus on what you love most, building your business. Let us take care of the rest. Call 865-294-4792. P&L Business Services, empowering you to grow your business.
Prescription drug misuse is a prevalent and potentially fatal problem. When people do not properly monitor, store, and dispose their medications, it can create an opportunity for misuse. Count it. Make it a goal to count your pills once every 2 weeks. Like it. Secure your medications at home. Drop it. Drop off unused or expired medications for proper disposal at any police department in Anderson County. For more info, visit asapofanderson.org. Brought to you by ASAP of Anderson. Prevention works.
Over 14,000 neighbors live in fear of becoming sick or injured and having to make a choice between putting food on the table or seeking medical care. The free medical clinic tries to take that fear away.
What do we help them with? We help them with diabetes, hypertension, any kind of medical need that they need that's necessary. And being in a community with the African American community lets them know that we're here.
Fan Gear Barn is Oak Ridge's source for new and vintage sports fan gear from around the world of sports. Find your favorite team gear at Fan Gear Barn, located at 977 Oak Ridge Turnpike, across from the hospital. Open 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., 6 days a week. Closed on Sundays.
We have 5 minutes left. We're going to talk about a couple of quick subjects, kind of lightning round. Magistrates and whatever else, they want people authorized and, more importantly, paid to be able to get people out of jail in non-hours so the judges won't have to be bothered at home and all that kind of stuff. I never knew too many judges that minded. I mean, we have like 14 people who sign warrants. But I can see justification for hiring 2 people and rotating them on the weekends or whatever, 12-hour shifts and going. But that's about it.
Yeah, it's, we created a committee for magistrates and for the Justice Center, and there hasn't really been a lot of discussion lately about it. But
is the Justice Center a dead issue?
I don't think it's dead. I think it'll probably be
going up $10 million every couple of years.
Yeah, I think it. I mean, I'm a pro Justice Center guy. I've always been, but it may be my grandson on commission that gets to happen, but I hope not. But magistrates, I
just don't have a lot of people in this county.
Well, and I think too, I would be very curious to see the numbers. Kind of, what are the the availabilities of our current judiciary, and I remember when Judge Fisher was on the bench, 3:00 in the morning he was signing.
Don Layton's the same way. He used to knock on Don's door all different times. Judge Birch's. I mean, those guys always sign warrants.
And so I don't pretend to be in their shoes or know, but I would like to know, how many warrants are not getting signed timely in order for us to really jump into a program
where's the cause? Why do we need this?
I don't want to. I mean,
so people can sleep better. I don't get that.
I get having some, but I would really like to see kind of a justification for. If they wanted 10 or 12, I can't see that being.
No way.
Seeing, and I don't know where we'd get the money for that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But I'll be curious to see a plan. I mean, I haven't seen one yet. It'd be interesting to see. I trust the judges and the general, but
Real quick, Sessions Court. We have a Sessions Court in Oak Ridge. We have one in Clinton that's been put on the docket for money. Oak Ridge paid their contract, paid $30,000 a year for 5 years. We're in year 6 or 7. It's now in our own building. Doesn't have a lot of cost to it in that sense, in operational construction sense. But now commissioners want to get Oak Ridge back paying again, or they want to pay it, or they want to move the court. What do they want to do?
I don't know. I'll be curious. I'm curious to see what Monday brings for operations. For me, I would like to see us re-engage with the city.
I think they're open to that.
Yeah, for an annual payment towards our expenses. I know in 2019 it was about just over $100,000 for the sheriff's department to operate, to have an.
And they pay 30. They paid us 30.
So,
one time 60 for improvements.
I do think that I would like to see us get back to the table on that. Now, in terms of bringing it back to Clinton, I don't know where you would put it.
Pod 1, I think so.
Yeah, that's I don't
see that either.
Yeah, and then if we built the Justice Center, maybe there's a discussion there.
I think the biggest argument I have, the Justice Center makes efficiency sense. The problem is, what are you going to do with the space where they are? Storage or something like that? I mean, hard to spend $60-70 million to justify that.
Yeah, I would think if we did not have it there, just selling the place. You got a hotel going up right there at Home Depot.
Hey, but the Justice Center, you got to move things out of the courthouse.
Oh, Justice Center changes the game for everything.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the discussion changes for everybody. But
how much money in the rainy day fund balance? We got a lightning around here. We got to go.
We're close to $20 million.
That's incredible. We had $640,000 when Rex took office, or $380,000 or something.
Yeah,
I mean, it's incredible how much money we've.
Internet sales tax, all of those things have helped, but we've done a pretty good job of tightening.
It's killing some of those not to spend that money. I'm telling you, I know. I mean, they want to do it.
We're really trying to build our capital.
We need to.
We've got some facility issues that we need to address.
Everybody in every state government school does. Yeah, that's right.
So we want to get to where we can really address those.
Clinton High School out of the woods, they got everything fixed. They're working good.
I think so. Robbie Harrell's doing a good job. And, my daughter goes there next year.
Yeah, getting big, isn't she?
Yeah, man. It's I don't like it, but it is what it is.
That's what Sarah says too about our son, but that's where it is. I mean, I don't know. You do a great job, Tyler.
I appreciate it.
You're knowledgeable. You're calm. Your demeanor's good. I just think you're doing a wonderful job, and I appreciate all of the commissioners. Patrice Palmer, there's just a lot of people. We appreciate you watching tonight. We'll be back next week with Mayor Warren Goose to talk about Oak Ridge for a little bit.